Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of 9 R.I.P. running on Nintendo Switch 2. He eased his embrace, and I felt his cold lips on mine, a sensation that was unique to him. I'm happy too. The emotions I felt at that moment were profound. I'll never forget this moment, nor the love I have for him. No matter where we looked, we couldn't find the boy, and so we descended the stairs. Where can he be? We've looked everywhere. Kureha seemed deep in thought and didn't respond right away. Then a realization seemed to strike him, and he turned to me. I was taken aback by his suggestion. So you think he might be in the mirror world? We had avoided the central stairs while searching, knowing Hinakiku was in the mirror. Passing by the mirror might trigger her curse, which was a risk we weren't willing to take. Let's go check it out. I grabbed his hand, but Kureha didn't budge. After everything, you're still saying this? Besides, I need to confront Hinakiku to get her name anyway. Kureha hesitated briefly, then began to walk alongside me again. Thank goodness, I couldn't handle being told to stay out of it again. He tightened his grip on my hand, and I held it back just as firmly. We're coming to the end now. With our hearts filled with tension, Kureha and I approached the mirror. Arriving at our destination left us stunned because the mirrors turned pitch black. What's happening? So because we trapped her in there, the darkness is even denser than normal? I imagined the thick darkness within and felt a chill run down my spine. I'm really scared, but I knew there was no going back now. Yes. I knew Hinakiku might be on the other side. I still wish we'd spoken to the boy beforehand. I nodded, watching as Kureha stepped into the mirror. After a moment, I cautiously followed. Stepping into the mirror world, it felt familiar, yet the air felt denser, likely due to Hinakiku's presence. According to Hibiki, the mirror world could have been swallowed by the other realm, so we'd better be careful. Let's start looking for her. A voice echoed from below the stairs, and I turned to see the boy we'd been looking for. I quickly approached him. As we reached him, the boy bowed deeply. He looked up, his eyes filled with remorse. I sensed his sincerity, and yet... Kureha's voice was wary as he questioned the boy. Just as the boy was about to continue, a wave of dizziness hit me, but thankfully Kureha was there to steady me. I've known for a while now, but it seems my time here really is running short. Given my condition, we decided it was best to continue our conversation in the nurse's office. Kureha gently laid me on the bed, and the two of them stayed close by my side. The boy then jumped right into discussing the details of the divine invocation incidents. As I mentioned before, Hinagiku and I both served at the Tsukigami estate. Being about the same age, we would often talk together at work. Most of the other servants were much older, making our connection unique. We could talk about anything together. Friendship came easy to us. Then Yui Tsukigami disappeared. Isao Tsukigami frantically searched for his lost daughter, gradually losing his mind as he did so. He secluded himself in his study. Other servants told us he was obsessing over stories of spiritings away. The other servants sensed a dark change in him and started resigning one by one. But it made no difference. Eventually, they were all dismissed. Everyone except Hinakiku and I, that is. We were left behind. We were to be imprisoned. I was an orphan and a live-in servant, which made me an easy target. Hinakiku had a brother, Kureha, but Isao knew her disappearance would be overlooked. Despite his madness, Isao Tsukigami remained a powerful man. He could sweep the disappearance of 2 young household staff away. On the day we were imprisoned, it seemed like any other day at work, but Hinakiku and I felt something was off. The absence of the other servants was eerie. Though we dared not question our master, given his unstable state, so we continued to work as we normally did. That's when Isao Tsukigami gave us a rather chilling order. I obeyed, not suspecting a thing. Who knew that room would become my prison? That was when it all began. While I was imprisoned, the days passed uneventfully. Luckily, Hinakiku's room was next to mine, so we could talk through the wall. We plotted our escape, but as time went on, we heard more and more voices coming through the walls. Isao Tsukigami had imprisoned not only us, but a number of others, too. I later discovered he'd kidnapped them. As days passed, things only grew more ominous. The first victim was Hinakiku. As for her, if you've regained your memories, Kureha, there's no need for me to elaborate. Soon after that, someone new was brought to Hinakiku's room. It wasn't her. I knew it instantly. It was a man who kept muttering to himself. I feared I was going insane. What happened to Hinakiku? That question consumed me. I tried desperately, futilely, to hold on to my sanity. My time came soon after that. I was sacrificed in the ritual. Then, as a ghost, I was reunited with Hinakiku. Strangely, I was relieved to die. Given the circumstances, death seemed a mercy to me. With nothing to live for, I thought about quickly crossing over, but that became impossible.
私は成仏できません。兄が悪霊化してしまったのです。どうにかして元に戻してあげたい。
Interesting. Hinakiku told me about all that happened.
今も兄は月神功を恨み、この屋敷をさまよっています。
As Hinakiku said, your murderous rage against Isao Tsukigami caused you to attack him with your blade while he was in the study. Your blade, though, couldn't harm the living. Ironic, isn't it? Wraiths forget everything, but the anger that caused them to become one. Such is the power of vengeance, of hate. Your hatred for Isao Tsukigami only intensified after that. Then one day, Hinakiku came up with an idea.
私が月神功を呪い殺します。
そんなことできないよ。だって俺たちは幽霊。
兄を見ていて気がついたのです。恨みが強ければ呪い殺すことも可能ではと。
That made some sense to me. It seemed as though Kureha would one day be powerful enough to curse Isao Tsukigami.
相当の恨みじゃなきゃ。稲木ちゃん。
自分を殺され、唯一の肉親である兄を殺され、何程度の恨みだと思っているのですか。私は兄のために耐えているだけです。私自身、兄に負けないほどの恨みを持っている。
In that moment, something black and sinister flowed from Hinakiku's body. I hugged her, trying to restrain her.
お願いだからこらえてくれ。
ありがとう、 てももうこらえきれないのよ。
だけどひなぎくちゃんが月神功を呪い殺してもクレハさんが元に戻るかわからないじゃないか。いや、元に戻ったって君が悪霊になっていたら。
兄の姿を見たでしょう。化け物のようなあの姿を。私が悪霊となっても私だと気づかないわ。そうなればひなぎくは成仏したのだとそう思って成仏してくれるはず。
そうでは
あなたは成仏してね。安らかな世へ旅立って。
そんなことできるわけないだろう。俺が君をどう思ってるか。
ごめんなさい。
ねえ、お願いだからやめてよ。月神功を殺す方法なら他にもあるはずだ。一緒に考えよう。
そうしているうちにも兄が月神功を殺してしまいます。そうすればきっと地獄へ連れて行かれてしまう。
地獄。
この世にも取り締まっている者たちがいると他の幽霊から聞いたの。聖者を傷つけるのは重罪よ。
じゃあ君は。
聖者の頃から兄は私を一番に考え守ってきてくれた。だから今度は私が。
Kureha, I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stop her.
ねえ、お願い。私のことは知らせないで。ひなぎくは悪霊になったと言わないでいて。こんなこと頼んでしまってごめんなさい。
Then, with a faint smile,
私を愛してくれてありがとう。
a lone tear fell from Hinakaku's eye as she vanished into the shadows. She had turned into a wraith. When he finished speaking, the boy gazed at Kureha.
あんたは月神功が呪い殺されたのを見ると急に意識を失ってさ。目を覚ましたのは月神功が死んで数日経ってからだった。驚くことにあんたは元の姿に戻っててさ。思ったんだけど、あんたは悪霊化していたけどなりきれていなかったんじゃないかな。だって元に戻ったんだから。ついでに言うと、あんたに記憶がなかったのは一度悪霊になったからと。多分だけどひなぎくちゃんの死を間近に見たショックで記憶を封じ込めた。ひなぎくちゃんことね。
ひなぎく。
His voice quivered as he whispered her name. I rose and silently took Kureha's hand. Kureha, I hope you can come to terms with this. I prayed the words silently as I held his hand. The boy's gaze lingered on Kureha, clouded by sorrow. Perhaps a part of him resented Kureha for forgetting all about Hinagiku. He must have struggled, honoring Hinagiku's wish while seeking for a way to bring her back. That reminds me. Gathering my courage, I softly spoke. The boy turned to me. Did Hinagiku go to hell? How was it that she was able to come back here?
ああ、刑期を終えて戻ってきたんだ。罪を犯した幽霊にも等しく成仏をする権利は与えられるらしい。と言っても悪霊のままだったけど、罪を犯したことへの罰を与えるだけで更生まではしてくれないみたい。
I see. It would probably be better to ask Saya.
自分を殺した人間を呪い殺したという正当性が認められてか、そんなに長い間投獄されていなかったよ。 まあそれは良かったんだけど、彼女を元に戻す方法を実行するのに時間がかかっちゃってさ。
Back to normal?
まずクレハさんにひなぎくちゃんを思い出させること。クレハさんには悪霊化せずに事実を受け止めてもらわないとならなかった。なぜなら彼女に呼びかけてほしいから。それができればひなぎくちゃんは元に戻ると思うから。
I was beginning to understand the plan. Kureha had been silent, but then turned to face the boy.
今度は俺がひなぎくを取り戻す番だな。
Saying this, his grip on my hand tightened slightly. I'm so glad Kureha is taking this well.
俺思うんだ。ひなぎくちゃんもあの時のクレハさんと同じく完全には悪霊化していないんじゃないかって。だってひなぎくちゃんは他の幽霊を襲わないんだ。悪霊は寂しさに飢えて構ってほしいというように襲いかかるはずなのに。
I noticed that too. Once, another wraith attacked me, crying out in loneliness. When Hinagiku attacked, she only pleaded for Kureha's memories to remain forgotten. So Hinagiku isn't lost to darkness yet. Until now, the hope of bringing Hinagiku back seemed bleak. I'm so glad we talked to this boy first. I renewed my resolve with a sigh.
だが今になってどうして俺に記憶を取り戻させた？
That was something I couldn't understand either. I had always assumed it was to stop Kureha from turning into a wraith. But why now? I looked back at the boy.
クレハさんに大切な人ができたから。
ん？
クレハさんを支えてくれる人が現れるのを俺はずっと待っていたんだ。支えがあればきっと悪霊化しない、こらえてくれると信じて。
So I was the reason.
俺の見立ては間違いじゃなかっただろう。
It filled me with joy to realize I had become the person who could support him.
クレハさんが悪霊化しちゃったらひなぎくちゃんを救う手立てがなくなるから、かなり慎重にはなっていたよ。だから本当によかった。
ひなぎくのことを考えてくれているんだな。
ひなぎくちゃんは俺にとって大事な人だから、クレアさんが彼女を思うようにね。
Kureha released my hand and stood up. Then he bowed to the boy.
ありがとう。ひなぎくを愛してくれていて。
For the first time, I saw Kureha act as the protective big brother he was.
あんたと話すのは初めてだったけど、ちゃんとした人でよかったよ。
Kureha looked up, encouraged by the boy's words.
あんたたちが来た時のためにってひなぎくちゃんは地下祭壇に閉じ込めてる。だからひなぎくちゃんを頼む。俺じゃダメだったから。俺がいても足手まといにしかならない。だから俺は行かない。
Huh? Before I could speak up, Kureha placed his hand on the boy's shoulder.
わかった。行こう。だがお前も一緒にだ。
俺はいいよ。何も役に立てないから。
お前がひなぎくのそばにいてくれたから悪霊となった後も自我を忘れずにいた。話を聞いて俺はそう感じたんだがな。
I agree. That's exactly why we should stick together. We have to save Hinagiku, all of us.
ありがとう。うん。一緒に行こう。
The three of us set off to the basement. Before descending into the underground altar, Kureha firmly reminded me, Do not look into Hinagiku's eyes. Given that her gaze could curse me, I was only in danger if our eyes met. I'm pretty sure that's right. At least that's how it's been for this whole time. Shortly after, we entered the dimly lit altar, and, just as the boy mentioned, we found Hinagiku there. She didn't conceal her fury and started channeling negative energy towards me immediately. But Kureha intervened.
ひなぎく
For a moment, Hinagiku ceased. It was as though her body was frozen in time. So, part of her is still in there.
ひなぎくちゃんと聞こえているんだろうこの兄の声が
Her guttural cries resounded throughout the area.
ひなぎく
Kureha crying out her name seemed to push her back. He then grasped Hinagiku's hand.
ひなぎくひなぎく正気に戻ってくれ
Hinagiku seemed to struggle, trying to break free. I kept my eyes cast down to avoid her gaze. Then somehow Hinagiku's face came into my line of sight. What? And our eyes locked. She had contorted her body enough to enter my field of vision. Oh no. Help, brother. Words began to enter my head, coupled with screams that I couldn't process. Kazuma. Ah!
ひなぎくやめてくれ彼女を傷つけないでくれ頼む
Even though I could still hear Kureha. Oh no, I'm getting pulled in. At this rate, I'll... No, I can't give up now. I made a vow to Kureha and myself to guard my own mind. My vision grew hazy as I fought to stay conscious.
お姉さん
I realized the boy from before was supporting me. Meanwhile, Kureha was attempting to restrain Hinagiku. I'm sorry.
ここから離れようさあ早く
Without waiting for my response, he began guiding me up the stairs. Even as we ascended, the sounds of Hinagiku's anguished cries and Kureha's calls for her echoed behind us. While climbing, I tried to steady my thoughts, contemplating the curse from Hinagiku that had infiltrated my mind. In those moments, I thought I heard the whisper of a delicate girl. The boy helped me all the way to the library. Then he brought over a chair and had me sit down. Thank you. You saved me.
ごめんなさい俺がもっと気を配っていれば
It was my own fault. I thought I was being cautious, but ended up looking directly into her eyes. Despite this, the boy appeared distressed. Feeling that any attempt to confront him might be futile, I simply told him what was on my mind. But I did come to one realization. When I received the curse, I heard voices whispering in my head. Yes, Hinagiku was among them. And among those voices was a girl's. This is just a guess, but I think it might be the voice of Hinagiku's consciousness.
本当
He moved closer so suddenly I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. I think she was saying something like, Brother, please help.
それクレハさんのことだよかった本当によかった
Also, she mentioned Kazuma. Is that someone's name? The boy's face froze, his gaze drifting.
それ
Oh, that's his name.
俺の名前
Huh? The boy by the name of Kazuma fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face.
覚えてくれてナギク
They were tears of joy, and I could tell his heart was filled with love and relief. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a handkerchief and offered it to him without a word. Kazuma looked up, thanked me, and accepted it. Suddenly, Kureha burst into the room.
大丈夫かミサ。
Yes, I'm fine. How's Hinagiku?
今も地下にいる。どう声をかけても狂ったように叫ぶだけでな。扉を閉めてきたからここには来ない。
Then let's try again. This time with both you and Kazuma calling out to her. I looked at Kazuma, who nodded back at me. In his eyes, I saw a flicker of hope. This time, it might just work. This might be our final attempt. I'm not sure if my body can endure much more. Kureha seemed about to speak, then stopped himself. Kureha?
俺を信じてここで待っていてくれないか。
Huh?
お前がいるとひなぎくが呪いを飛ばす。それは避けたいんだ。お前を死なせたくないから。
Kureha. His concern touched me, but we couldn't leave the outer realm and return to the mortal realm without me being there. I understand. I'll trust you and wait, but let me keep an eye on you from a distance.
ありがとう。必ずひなぎくを正気に戻す。そうすればお前の呪いは解けて会話をすることもできるだろう。
I guess Kureha had already thought this through. I felt reassured that he considered every angle. But of course he would. His sole focus this whole time has always been getting me back home safely.
階段の暗闇に潜んで見守っていてくれ。いいな。
Yes. Then, without delay, we all sprang into action. As directed, I hid behind the shadows in the stairway and watched silently over them. Hinagiku still looked restless as she moved about with her eyes scanning in every direction. She would notice me if I wasn't careful. Nervously, I made sure to remain out of sight. Kureha and Kazuma approached Hinagiku, and she immediately ran away with her back to the wall. The fear displayed by the wraith was proof that Hinagiku's consciousness was still intact. Otherwise, she would have just immediately attacked them.
ひなぎく、聞いてくれ。俺は。
Hinagiku's piercing screams overpowered any words Kureha attempted to convey. I trusted Kureha not to succumb to becoming a wraith, and yet perhaps the flood of memories tormented him as well. Hinagiku darted towards Kazuma and seemed to seek refuge behind him, but
ひなぎくちゃん、よく聞いて。クレアさんはちゃんと受け止めたんだ。もう闇に染まることはないんだよ。だから君が闇に染まっている理由はもうないだろう。
Hinagiko raised her gaze to meet Kazuma's, then slowly turned her attention back to Kureha.
ひなぎく。
He gently grasped Hinagiku's hand, causing her to shake intensely.
俺はすべて記憶を取り戻した。あの時のことをすべて。ずっと忘れていてごめん。お前に寂しい思いをさせてごめん。
Kureha delivered those words to Hinagiku with patience and sincerity.
俺は正常だ。悪霊化しない。もう心配しなくてもいいんだ。
I hope Hinagiku will understand. I put my hands together and prayed from the shadows.
寂しい思いはもうさせない。
Hinagiku, please.
ずっとお前のそばにいるよ。
Please listen to Kureha's words.
だから目を覚ましてくれ。
Please see him with your own eyes.
そうだ。お前の兄だ。
And then a radiant light filled the underground altar, and the oppressive darkness seemed to vanish. As the light faded, the wraith was gone. Instead, a beautiful glowing orb floated gently in its place.
ひなぎく。
お兄さん、ありがとう。思い出してくれて本当にありがとう。ずっと会いたかったです。
ひなぎく。来るのが遅れてごめん。お前を思い出せずに。
ひなぎくは嬉しいのです。だからどうか謝らないでください。
What a relief. I'm so happy for them.
カズマさん、
ひなぎくちゃん、
ありがとう。カズマさん、あなたがいつもそばにいてくれたから、私は暗闇の中でもわずかに自分を保てていました。苦しくて辛くて、自分のすべてを黒に染めようとした時もありました。でもあなたの存在が私を助けてくれました。本当にありがとう。
俺はひなぎくちゃんのそばにいたくてそうしていただけだよ。はあ、戻ってきてくれて嬉しい。
Gradually, the boy's form began to fade.
ねえ、俺を愛してくれているなら一緒に行ってくれない？
ええ、もちろんです。すぐに行きます。あなたのもとへ。
それならよかった。クレハさんとお別れしたらすぐに来てね。
Goodbye to Kureha? After the boy disappeared, Kureha approached Hinakiku.
ひなぎく、会わせたい人がいるんだ。
Hearing this, I stepped forward, a bit anxious. I...
あなた様に謝りたかったのです。苦しめてしまいました。本当にごめんなさい。
Do you remember everything?
うっすらとですが、あなた様のことをお兄さんが守ってくれていて本当に良かったです。
Though I couldn't see her face, her voice was warm and genuine. No need for apologies. I understand, Hinakiku.
ありがとうございます。
The orb seemed to bow gently towards me. Seeing that, I couldn't help but smile. And so I proceeded to ask her. I've been meaning to ask your name. Well, I guess I already know it, but I wanted to hear it from you. I needed to restore this place back to the mortal realm. Sorry if it isn't a good time.
詳しい事情はわかりませんが、あなた様の頼みとあらば。
After a brief pause, Hinakiku spoke.
私の名前はひなぎく。あなた様のおかげで兄と会えました。心から感謝します。お兄さん、私はカズマさんのもとへ参ります。後で来るのを待っていますね。お兄さんが来るのは先になりそうですから。
Huh?
相変わらずお前は里いやつだな。ああ、先に行っていてくれ。おそらく俺が行くのはあと何十年か後。
After saying that, Kureha turned to me.
ここで彼女を待ち共に行く。
I suspect that Kureha intended to wait until my life ended before crossing over. Actually, I'm sure that's exactly what he intends to do. He'd watch over me in life and then join me when my time came.
お二人とも待っています。
Gradually, Inakiku faded away. Then it was just the two of us. Kureha came closer and extended his hand with a warm smile. I reciprocated the smile and accepted his hand. Then, after exiting the mirror, Kureha mentioned a place he wanted to visit, so we headed to the nurse's office. Saying he didn't want to intrude on my goodbyes, he waited at the entrance instead. Yui was in the nurse's office. I told her everything that had happened.
成し遂げることができて本当に良かった。最後お手伝いできなくてごめんなさい。
Yui, you've been a huge help. Thank you for everything. I grabbed her hand. Yui tried to pull back, but I held on tight. Don't worry, Yui. There's no darkness in you. We may live in different worlds.
友人よ。
She finished my sentence before I could finish. Before I could. Together we both laughed. No fair. You can't interrupt me and say it first. I was doing a thing. I'll be supporting you, Yui. I want you to let go of your regrets. I don't want to see you still here when I get here.
ありがとう。とっても嬉しいわ。私も陰ながらあなたを見守っているから。
Our smiles met as we parted ways. After leaving the nurse's office, I glanced up at the central stairway with the large mirror. Hibiki. Since he hadn't returned, I couldn't bid him farewell, but my time was almost up. Thank you, Hibiki. At the entrance, I found Kureha waiting for me. Kureha. I called his name and he responded with a warm smile. This is it, our final moments together. Suppressing such thoughts, I pulled the sheet with the corpse flowers illustrated on it. I'm about to look at the printout. I think all the flowers should be colored in now. I unfolded the sheet, and just as I suspected, all the flowers were colored in. For a fleeting instant, I thought I saw the corpse flowers quiver. They were only pictures, but for a moment they seemed almost alive. Silently, I brought the sheet closer to my face. You don't have to wait for me. You can cross over. I'll meet you on the other side.
それが待たなくてはいけなくてな。新たな心残りができてしまったんだ。それはお前と共にあること。
I had a feeling things would turn out this way. I said nothing and merely smiled at him. Tears filled with a mixture of joy and sorrow clouded my eyes. Thank you for loving me, Kureha.
これからもお前を見守り、愛していく。待っているぞ、ミサ。
Tears rolled down my cheeks, not from from sorrow, but from overwhelming joy. Definitely not from sour. Until we meet again, these feelings will remain in my heart. I truly love you. Kureha gently wiped away my tears, and I savored this final tender touch from him.
Thisぬくもり、肌の感触、俺への視線、そのすべてを忘れないでおかないとな。
Indeed, you should. Keep those memories close. Who knows, I might end up living quite a long life.
お前がどんな人生を送るか楽しみに見ているぞ。ミサ、忘れるな。嬉しい時、悲しい時、どんな時も俺がそばにいるということを。ずっとお前に寄り添っていく。お前の幸福を願いながら。
Absolutely. I'll never forget. Even if I can't see you, Kureha, I know you'll be there. You're the only one for me, Kureha. I can't be with anyone else. And with your love, I know I'll never feel lonely.
申し訳ないが、そうしてもらうか。
A gust blew from the printout in my hand, and I was enveloped in the scent of flowers. Looks like our time is up.
また会う時まで待っている。人生を楽しんでこい。
Yes, here I go.
ああ。
As if on cue, the printout began to glow just as I finished speaking. Oh, that was quite good. Actually felt a little bit there when his sister passed. That was or crossed over. Oh, what a surprise! I really didn't expect this Hitomi to be like super good. Maybe it's not as good as like the Sparrow Drops. I think the Sparrow Drops was like some peak Otome, but this is really good too. So it's not really a surprise considering that this is the production behind this. Sometimes I worry about seeing anything from IF, but I associate them with the Neptunia series, and while that series is really great characters and story, the gameplay is pretty questionable. But here, there's no worry about gameplay. We have just some choices to make, and that's it. So yeah, I mean, I really like this route, and this is just our first route. Obviously, we have many more routes to go, and it's just about the right length, I think. And at this point in time, I think all the love choices that you have to make are good. Right? Sometimes you get these Otome games, and you get like some crappy love choices. Characters that are like overly abusive or condescending, and that's supposed to be some sort of fantasy for the female readers out there, which I mean, okay. But in this case, these are very nice. These are very nice characters, and yeah, I could see the main character falling in love with them, and yeah, it's well done. Like all the illustration and the art. Normally, I'd like the music, but obviously we have the stream, and there's such a thing as copyright. So unfortunately, you guys get to miss it as far as this is concerned. Upon returning to the mortal realm, I was greeted by daylight for the first time in ages, its brilliance making me squint. I'm back. I was suddenly overwhelmed by profound exhaustion, and at the same time, hunger and sleepiness overtook me, prompting me to collapse on the spot. I feel too weak to move. I was certain that Kureha was still nearby, anxiously watching over me. I longed to get up off the floor, but my body had reached its breaking point and refused.
Oi! 大丈夫か?
That voice. Is it my teacher? Footsteps hurried towards me, and I felt my teacher lifting me up.
Isshiki, お前今までどこに? いや、それよりも救急車が先だ.
Thank goodness. My teacher's worry showed that I had indeed returned to my former life, and then everything faded to black. I was taken to the hospital and was made to stay for a few days. I received many tests, but the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with my health. The mark on my face was completely gone. When Hinakiku regained her sanity at the altar, I felt the darkness dissipate, so I assumed the mark disappeared then. It was fine up until that point, but as expected, I had been considered missing, and I was then found 9 days later. My mother, sister, and Sayaka all scolded me. Then they all cried. They looked at me funny when I said it was caused by a god. But unlike the others, Mom blamed herself. It must have been because I didn't listen to you during that phone call. She wasn't completely wrong. Was this what the god wanted? After I was discharged from the hospital, things calmed down. I was surprised when Mom told me that I was free to choose whatever school I wanted. It seemed almost disappointing because I had made up my mind and was ready to fight. And for the time being, it seemed that strange chapter in my life had come to an end. As the classroom glowed with an orange hue, Karakara, the sound of his blade. This was the true story of Karakara. At school during sunset, Karakara continues to roam. My beloved. At Naragamahama High, well, that's a lot. They say there are 7 wonders who have lived for generations in the school. He is one of them. In the twilight, as the sun casts its last glow on the school, he stands by my side, with a smile warming my heart, watching over me. I smiled, and Sayaka, who had been listening, smiled back at me.
カラカラさんの真相ってそういうことだったんだ。
When I had finished my time in the hospital, I returned to school and told Sayaka all about the strange events I had experienced. Sayaka believed every word, though I always knew she would. It was the one time her fascination with the occult actually proved useful.
しかし思い悩んでいると神隠しに会うっていうのは本当だったんだな。私もそのうち会うかも。
Definitely. Did you say something?
なんでもない。それよりもさ、あなたのおかげで学校の七不思議が減っちゃったってことだよね。
Yeah, I suppose. But they've crossed over, so it's for the best. Oh, the girl's toilet mystery is gone now. That morning, I'd placed the caramel down as an offering to Hanako. I hope she received it.
確かに成仏はとても喜ばしいことだよね。っていうか、願いを叶える本が本当にあるのがかなりびっくりだよ。頑張って探してみようかな。
It won't be so easy. It was more of an exception in my case.
環境的にそうだったんだろうね。あ、でもさ、あなた願いを叶えてもらわなかったんだね。
Huh? No, the book told me its name.
それは願いに含まれないんじゃない？だってあなたの名前と引き換えだったんだから。
I do have a wish. I want to know your name.
これは驚いた。わしの名を知りたい人間がいるとは。悪いが、それは願いの範疇ではない。あやかしは特別な契約でもなければ、あまり名を口にしない。ただでは教えぬ。
I'd never realized it, but Sayaka, you're right.
いけない、塾の時間。ミサ、また明日ね。あ、今度から思い悩む前に相談してよ。私っていう親友がいるのを忘れないでね。
Right. I'll be sure to get your advice next time, Sayaka. I always feel better when I talk to you, and I'm sure things will get better. I acknowledged Sayaka's words, and she responded with a smile.
変えちゃうよ。あなたからモヤモヤを消すから。
Sayaka slung her bag over her shoulder, ready to leave the classroom. She then paused at the door and turned back to me.
ねえ、明日私の話も聞いてくれる？
Of course. I'm here to listen any time.
ありがとう。私もあなたに聞いてもらえれば変化を受け入れられる気がする。それじゃ、バイバイ。
Oh, what's Sayaka's story? Yeah, see you tomorrow. Take care. I hope we find out at some point in time. I watched Sayaka leave, then looked around the now quiet classroom. Kureha, did you catch that? With that thought, I began to pack up. I left the classroom and headed to the library. It's time to start thinking about which school I'm going to go to. I was still unsure about what I wanted to do in the future. Well, at least I still have time to figure it out. Thanks to everything I'd experienced, I was able to have a different mindset. I'd met the dead and learned the joy of living. My future was open with possibilities. I wanted to embrace a life without regrets. Reaching the library, I noticed the shelf filled with university pamphlets. I guess I should take a look at these. Did I just hear something? Curious, I turned towards the sound and... There it was, the red book, the one that granted wishes, on the floor of the library. No way. Tentatively, I reached out and picked it up. Could it be it's here to grant my a wish now, since it didn't before? My hand shaking, I opened the cover. The pages, blank and unmarked, offered no clue as to its intent. But soon, words slowly began to materialize on the page. I didn't grant your wish before. Now's the time. A brush materialized above the book. Now your wish. It's just like before. Swallowing hard, I took the brush in hand. My wish? Allow me to see Kureha. I inscribed those words in the book, and immediately they faded away. Then both the brush and the book vanished into thin air. Huh? Could it be a wish beyond its power to grant? Maybe it's time to head home. The whole ordeal sidetracked me from considering my school options, so I simply left the library. As I walked towards the main entrance, my mind wandered through a myriad of thoughts. Maybe seeing Kureha was too much to ask for, but what if I had chosen a different wish? That sound. I definitely felt a strange presence, and with it, a sudden chill.
ああ、ここにいたのか。まだ帰ってなかったんだな。
That voice. I spun around to see the very person I longed to see. Kureha. Tears welled up in my eyes. It's really Kureha. I yearned to call out to him, but words failed me, trapped in my throat.
不思議なこともあったもんだ。視線が合うとはな。というか、なんで泣いてる？
He's got it all wrong. Overwhelmed with emotion, I couldn't help but laugh. A torrent of pent-up feelings came bursting forth. I'm crying because I can see you, Kureha.
どういうことだ？俺が見えているのか？
Yes, clear as day. I missed you, Kureha.
何がどうなってるのか、わけがわからないが、奇跡みたいなことが起こったんだな。
That's right. Looks like I've sparked another miracle.
お前には驚かされるな。
Kureha took another step towards me.
会いたかったぞ。ミサ。
Yes, me too. I reached my hand out to him, but my hand merely passed through him. But that was fine. At least we could talk to one another and gaze into each other's eyes. That in itself was a miraculous dream. And from here on out, I could pursue the life I truly wanted. Godly end, 8 flowers blooming. All right, well, why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching 9R.I.P.
まさか見えるようになるとは思ってもみなかったぞ。あんなに驚いたのは、お前と初めて話した時以来だ。お前には本当にびっくりさせられる。しかし、これからが楽しみだな。そうだ。再会してから言っていなかったな。あの時よりも愛している。これからもこの思いは膨らんでいくだろう。だから、すべて受け止めてくれよ。いいな。
Once again, this is meowmurai, and you've been watching 9R.I.P. Running on Nintendo Switch 2. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream. And yeah, we'll start the next wrap tomorrow. That was really good. Highly suggest the game.